No, that's not what I asked.
Oh.
Listen.
Oh,
Yes.
next, like today, we should just go start right away and not talk.
That's what I said at the end of yesterday's lesson. Good, thank you very much. And thank you all for coming on time, even before me. I appreciate that. Mariana, what did I say yesterday at the very beginning?
You wanted us to pray for you?
Thank you so much. And you guys did a great job of that yesterday, I felt. Can you do that again today? Okay, thank you very much. We started talking yesterday about what makes Christianity different. And you guys got some amazing list of ideas when you worked in your groups. That was good. And then when you shared out with me, you shared some pretty interesting things. Even some things that I didn't see on your papers that you came up with later. That was good. And then we started asking this question, do you feel different because you're a Christian? Are we different? And if you do feel different, do you feel weird different? Do you feel unusual? And is that okay that we feel unusual? Okay? And the truth of the matter is, it is absolutely okay. In fact, God says you are unusual. You are different. Today, during Abuna Daniel's sermon, he said, before there was a word called Christianity, it was called something else. Did you guys hear what he said? It was in Arabic though. He said, he cited the book of Acts. Okay?
Yeah, chapter something.
And he said, in the book of Acts, the people who believed in God, believed in Jesus and the resurrection, in the very beginning, they weren't called Christians. That word was not created yet. Marcelino, what were they called?
Gentiles.
What's that? Gentiles is a word they were using even back in Moses' time. Okay? To talk about what's a Gentile, Marcelino?
It's people who basically follow God.
And who are not Jews. Anybody who's not a Jew is a Gentile. Are you Gentiles?
Yeah.
Yes, you are. Yeah. The Church of Alexandria, okay, would be considered by the Old Testament expectations and standards as being Gentiles. But that's not what Christians were called. Check this out. Christians were called people of the way. The way. You know why? Because they just had a way about them. They were unusual. They were different. You know? There's a story, and this is a true story. This happens all the time in Egypt. Okay? A Muslim will bump into another Muslim in Egypt, and they'll be smiling, the Muslim. And it's such a great mood. Okay? And like very generous. Welcome, you know, here's this and here's that. Would you like more of this and would you like more of that? And one Muslim will say to another Muslim, did you meet a Christian today? What do you think that question's about? Did you meet a Christian today? Because the Christian, meeting a Christian, should be a different experience. When you meet a Christian, that should put you in a good mood. When you meet a Christian and get to know a Christian, that should make a difference in your life.
What if you are?
Yeah, thank you, Lydia. You just read my mind. I was about to say to you, because you're a Christian, Lydia, when you meet somebody, you should make a difference in their life. People should come across and say, Lydia, there's something about Lydia's way. She has a way about her. She's different. Something is weird about Lydia in a good way. Right? Coming in contact with Melody should put you in a good mood. I know. Right, Monica?
Yeah.
Right. So, that's what you have to ask yourself today. When people see me, do they say that person's got a way about them? That you know, Claire's different?
No, but I don't.
And look at the word. Look at the word that our Lord Jesus Christ says. But you are a chosen generation. Picked you. He picked you. A royal priesthood. Listen to that. We are children of a king and the children of a priest, a high priest. Who's that? Who's the high priest? Lydia? Is that why your hand's up? You gonna answer my question?
No.
Yeah, I'll come to you in just a second. Melody?
God.
God. Our Lord Jesus Christ is the high priest. Sorry, can you say one thing? Okay? A peculiar people. Peculiar. So I looked up the word peculiar in the dictionary. Look what it says. Peculiar. It's an adjective. It means strange or odd, unusual. His accent was a peculiar mixture of Scottish and Irish. That's how it can be used in a sentence. Belonging exclusively to. Peculiar means special, saved for. You know? In other words, our Lord Jesus Christ says, Jessica is peculiar to me. She's special to me. You know? She's chosen. She is exclusive. Exclusive. She has special rights. She's VIP. Okay? The air hung with an antiseptic aroma peculiar to hospital. Particular to hospitals. You know when you walk into a hospital, it's got that funky smell?
Yeah.
Right? Like super heavy duty cleaning. That's a smell that is associated with, connected to hospitals. You think hospitals? You think, okay. And when you walk into a hospital and smell that funky smell, you don't think to yourself, this is crazy. You think, well, it's a hospital, right? So when people see you and they see, oh, you know, Carol, they don't think, what on earth is that? They think, oh, she's a Christian. Makes sense. Okay? So that's the question to you is, are you okay with that? Are you okay that our Lord Jesus Christ said, you're weird.
Yeah.
And you should be weird and you should be happy with being weird. Who's okay with that? No, wait, put your hands down. Don't just say yes because I expect you to say yes and just because Jesus said yes. Just because it's in the Bible. You have to really understand and think of yourself. Maybe I'll wait and ask this question a little bit later on. Ask yourself, am I okay with being weird that way? Because didn't Christ say to us, in fact, promise us, hey guys, they hated me. You don't think they're going to hate you? Didn't he say that? The servant is not higher than his master. Are we servants of God? Yeah. So are we, just because we're the servant, just because we're servants, does that mean we get higher rank than God? No, we're not. We don't get higher rank. We're not higher than, we're a servant. So whatever they did to the master, we should expect that they will do to the servants. Who's that again? Us. Okay? So think about that. And I'm going to ask you a little bit later on. Are you okay with being peculiar? Because if you are, you got to be ready to take whatever goes with that. Like when you open up your lunch at school and you take out your food sandwich or your tamale sandwich, okay?
Yeah.
And people go like this to you. Why are you eating rotten stuff? Right? Right? Are you okay with that? You're like, do you have you gotta have an answer ready.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, this is not rotten stuff. This is falafel. This is delicacy. This is expensive stuff. Oh, sorry, you can't afford it.
Oh.
No, don't say that. Don't say
Yes,
that. Okay. But you gotta have an answer ready. You gotta have an answer. And you know why you gotta have an answer? Because the Bible says have an answer. The Bible says have an answer ready. St. Peter says, when somebody asks you why you're weird, you gotta have an answer ready to share with them the reason why you're weird. The reason why you have joy in your heart. The reason why when things go wrong, you don't fall apart and start crying and have a tantrum and what. He says that. So you gotta have an answer ready. Now, I'm not saying to you have a formula for every single thing. You can't possibly be ready to answer everything else. But you can always be praying and asking God to give you the right thing to say to this person. We're going to talk more about that later. So, peculiar means weird, and it's in the Bible. Okay, I'll come back to you. Now, look what people do in the world to feel special. Why? Because they don't have God. And these were the least weird kind of pictures I could find. That wouldn't be totally traumatic to you. Some disgusting stuff people do. Okay? I found this one picture of this guy who had a piercing in 200 places on his face.
Yeah.
You know my mom is a seamstress. She like sews and she like makes clothing and tailors and stuff. She has this thing called a pin cushion. A pin cushion. You ever seen those? They're small like little, you know,
Tomatoes. Like a little
tomatoes. They look like little tomatoes. And there's tons of little pins and needles and stuff stuck in. His face looked like a pin cushion. It was disgusting.
I think I saw it.
But people are dying for attention. They are dying for attention in the world. And so they do the craziest things. They widen their ear lobe like to a massive point until it rips. They wear bizarre clothes. And this is not even, like, I found some crazy, stupid, excuse my language, clothing that people wear to stand out in the world. Because they don't know that they are princes and princesses. That's you guys. Well, if your dad is a king, that makes you a princess. If your dad is a king, that makes you a prince. Who's your dad? God, right? And you know, when you see Prince Andrew, okay, or you know, one of the princes of England, or Princess Kate, right? She's very classy. He is dressed very classy, right? They don't do extra. Okay? By the way, I thought this was interesting. This guy had a tattoo on his back that said, "The truth is out there." You know what he doesn't realize? That he can have the truth not out there, but in here. The truth is not just out there. More of the truth is in here than out there. You look around, you're going to get distracted. You're going to hear and notice lies. But you know the truth. And you know what's interesting? Even people who are not Christians, God installed in something in them called natural law. Called what? Natural law. Natural law is what He gives every human being. It's what says to you, it's like your conscience, it's what says to you, that's wrong. That's okay? That's wrong. Like you don't have to be a Christian to know killing is wrong. No. You were created by God, and nobody had to teach you. You didn't have to read a book, you didn't have to go to school to know that killing is wrong. You came installed with that truth. That's already inside you. God made you like that to know killing is wrong. Now, can you see some things in the world that will try to convince you that killing is okay? Will the devil try to change that and make you believe that you had to and you didn't have a choice in it? You did not have to be taught that stealing is wrong. You knew when you were a baby and you took something from somebody else, okay? You took the toy and you turned around. You turned because you were trying to hide it. Well, me too. All of us. We knew that it was wrong even when we were children. We were created. Our parents didn't teach us the very first time that stealing is wrong. No, we knew we did something wrong. Yes?
I don't see what's weird about the three guys in the middle.
These guys?
Yeah, they're weird.
These three guys and this dude right here is all the same person. And what is that? It's like weird pants and all this stuff. And I'm telling you, but the point that I was trying to make earlier, Lydia, was I tried to find clothing that was weird, but it was just inappropriate for me to show that to you. Okay? But I'm sure if you go out today, you'll see some weird stuff.
Yeah.
And don't stare at it. Just keep walking. Okay? But
So weird.
you're going to see it. You're going to see it. Why? Because people want to feel what, Lydia?
Different, special.
Different, special.
Yeah. You notice?
Andrew?
No, Tony. He's
Tony, sorry. Andrew. Okay, Tony, Andrew. Okay, Tony.
So like for killing, if you're in the army,
Yeah.
like can you kill or no?
This is a great question. I don't want to distract too much of what we were saying but our Lord Jesus Christ said, give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and give to God what is God's. Which means what? When you are ordered by your government, okay, to do something, and it doesn't go against what God said, okay, then it's okay. Now, God said don't murder. But didn't some people die in the Bible? Didn't God allow the enemies to be killed in the Bible? Okay, so then the question is, not is fighting an army and killing in an army wrong, but are we killing for the right reasons? And then it depends on situation to situation, right? So, good question. Yes?
I don't get how the other memberships.
Again, it goes back to what I was saying to Lydia. This is the least weird thing I could possibly show you that wouldn't be inappropriate. You know what I'm saying? But then there were other clothing, okay, that was all ripped up, and it showed your underbody. Women's clothing. Appropriate or not appropriate?
No.
Absolutely inappropriate. Okay? And you get the idea, right? Okay. Somebody else? Okay. So we don't need to do all these things, okay? Because we're special for different reasons. And then this is a key word I want you to know. How many of you have heard this word worldview before? Worldview. Can somebody tell me what worldview means? What does it mean to have a worldview? Angelina?
To see the world.
To see the world, something. You give me half of it. What's the other half of it? Andrew?
To understand other things that happen in the world.
Even closer now. Melody.
To see the world not from your perspective, but others too.
We're getting closer now. Tony.
To see, like other people from their view or something.
Okay. Go ahead, Angelina.
To see the world differently.
Okay, it is to see the world differently, but it depends on something. So I'm going to explain this to you. This is really important, okay? Listen, because you're going to write this down. Because this is going to affect a lot of things that we are going to talk about today, okay? Don't write yet. I want you to listen, everybody look at me. Eyes here. I'll give you time to write, okay? Eyes here. Worldview. It's the way I see everything in the world. It's the way I see everything in the world because of what I believe. The way I see everything in the world, because of what I believe. Okay? Go ahead and write that down. And then I'll give you some examples. Worldview. That's your title. Worldview. Worldview. Okay? And I'm going to tell you what it is, and you're going to write it down. It's the way I see everything. The way I see everything.
So we just write the way.
Write what I'm saying. The way I see everything in the world because of what? What I said. Because of my beliefs. The way I see everything in the world because of my beliefs. The way I see everything in the world because of my beliefs. Okay? When you're done, please put the cap on your pen so I know you're finished. Melody, is your hand up? Okay, I'm going to give you some kinds now, some examples of what I'm talking about. Okay? How many have heard of the word feminism before? Feminism or feminist? Okay? Okay. A feminist is somebody who believes something, and because of that belief, they see the world, everything in the world, a certain way. Now, what does a feminist believe? A feminist believes, now a feminist can be a woman, usually they're like 99% of feminists are women, and they believe that all the problems in the world are because of men, and men are bad, and men are abusive, like they try to be like dictators. Okay? Alright? And they oppress women and children. Okay? And all that men care about is How? All. And so when they look at every single male in the world, every single male, regardless of age, they look at them and they think enemy. They think greed. They think dictator.
What about their dads?
Including their dads.
Even a baby boy?
Even a baby boy. They think future dictator. Okay? Now, if you go back, and I did this, okay? If you go back and you trace where feminism was born, okay, where did it start? It started with a Mary named Mary Wollstonecraft, okay? Back in the 1800s, okay? Now, her dad was drunk all the time. He was drunk all the time, and he would come home and he would hit his wife, and he would yell at Mary and make their lives miserable. He wasted all of the family's money on alcohol, and he ruined their lives. Of course, if you live like that, you're going to think men are bad. But it doesn't mean all men are bad. It doesn't mean that the problem is with the men. The problem is sin. Sin. So she started thinking that it was because he was a man that he did that. Not for other reasons. Not because, of his history, or because he didn't know God, and then she thought, well, my dad is like that, and guess what? I think all other men. So she generalized. Generalized meaning, she thought, she took this one situation and she said, well, she made a statement and she said all. She started using the word all. Feminism. Okay? This belief is that all men are evil, bad. Okay? There's other beliefs too. There's other ways of seeing the world too. Another worldview, okay, is a capitalist worldview. Capitalist meaning money is what affects the whole world. And everything, good or bad, is related to money. And there are people who think this way all the time about everything. Okay? There's tons. And if you belong to the Buddhist religion or the Hindu religion, in the Hindu religion you believe that if I treat Clara wrong, something called karma, have you heard that word karma?
Yeah, I heard about
Karma, something called karma, is going to make the balance even. So if I treat Clara wrong, sometime in the future, that'll come back to me.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, we don't call it karma in Christianity. We believe that God is just, meaning He is fair. He is fair. So if I treat Clara wrong, oh, I better be careful because she belongs to God. That's God's child. Okay? And God is not going to just let that go unaccounted for. Every single thing I do, okay, God knows about. And I can't hide from Him. And so God, maybe even because He loves me too, will teach me a lesson. Not destroy me, but teach me a lesson. Okay? So we don't call it karma in Christianity, we call it God's wisdom and justice. Okay? So Christianity has a worldview as well. Because we're Christians, we see everything and everyone differently. Okay? So when I stand here and I look out there and I see the mountains and the snow and the lake, I see that differently. Okay? Or I could see that differently than the guy also sitting right there and looking at the same scene. He may look at that and think, with his worldview is evolutionary, scientific. He thinks, oh, look at what happened by accident. That's amazing. That's amazing. Look at what happened by accident over millions of years. Okay? When I look at that, I'm like, no way did that happen by accident. That is totally on purpose. And everything works like, you know, the gears of a clock, how they like touch each other and they turn perfectly and make the time just go second by second perfectly. I think perfect design. Because of my what? Belief in God. And I believe that He created. Now, how did He create it? That's God's business. That's God's business. Were the 7 days of creation exactly 24-hour days? Probably not. Could they have been? Yeah, but probably not. And could He have used a bang? A big bang out in space? Yes, He could have used a big bang and then added other on-purpose actions. Okay? So did God intend for all of this to happen? Yeah. Was it accident? No. We don't believe it. Okay? And was there a master designer behind everything? Yes, absolutely. Okay? And I'm not going to get too off topic with evolution and stuff, but I'll give you one example.
Oh, can I name this example?
Can I borrow your watch for a second? Okay, Rebecca gave me her watch. Okay, the watch is made out of metal pieces. It's got like a rubber elastic band right here and here. There's a hard plastic that kind of looks like a glass on the front face. On the back there are 4 tiny screws, and on the side here is a pin that is used to adjust the time. If we pulled off the back cover, there would be a battery and some gears. Okay? Now, if I took this watch apart, every single thing from the clasp to the rubber to the 2 hands, the hour and the minute and the second, if I took that all apart and I put them in a I don't know,
Water bottle.
a water bottle or a box, and I closed that box up and I shook that box really hard, okay? How many of you would say that when I open that box, I would find, ta-da, a perfect watch? How many of you would say that, right? Well, that's what evolutionary people want us to believe. They want us to see tons of little things, all separate, not connected at all. None of the pieces have a mind of their own. They're just sitting there. And then we shake them really hard for a long time. And all of a sudden, all of those pieces come together. And ta-da! A perfect watch that works and moves on purpose.
Wow.
That's what they want us to believe. Come on now. That's crazy. Now, do I believe that out there could have been, okay, tons of little pieces, okay, out in a box called universe, and that there could have been a big shake, like a bomb or an explosion, a big bang? Yeah, I could believe that. But there has to be a great designer that says, I want all of those pieces to come together to create a tree. There has to be a designer. There has to be a designer. And the closest, another piece, thank you, Rebecca. The other piece of example of that is, look at your fingertip right here. Just one small thing. Your pointer finger has a what? Has a fingerprint. And Monica's fingerprint is different from mine, is different from Marcelino's, is different from Marley's and Marley's. Where's Marley? So every single one of us has a fingerprint, and guess what? When by the end of this trip, a layer of skin on their fingertip will have flaked off. Washing your face, grabbing things, a layer of skin. And guess what? Your fingerprint is still there. And every single one of you has a separate, individual fingerprint from the same mom and dad. Come on now. That's a pretty cool design, right? So you got to understand that our worldview, and here's the thing, because we know God, the way we see everything in the world, it makes more sense. It's more beautiful. Because I know it was on purpose. Go ahead, Lydia. Thank you for remembering. Okay? So worldview, all right? Now, I'm going to ask you to do this. Underneath worldview, I want you to write the word feminism. Go ahead, that. Write EX, for example. EX.
How do you write?
I'll spell it for you. Write EX, and then underneath, and then right beside that, write feminism. Feminism is spelled FEMIN.
How do you spell
FEM. INISM. Feminism. And then underneath feminism, I want you to write evolution. 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 Underneath that, I want you to write Hinduism.
How do you spell that?
HIN. Hin. DU. Do. Hinduism. ISM. Hinduism. And we could go on and put all the different, religions, Buddhism and Judaism even, right? Okay? And then I want you to write underneath that, in nice capital letters, Christianity. Christianity. While you're writing that, I want to tell you, I told you guys yesterday that I have how many kids?
3.
Oh, good. You guys are great listeners. And how old is my oldest?
Grade 6.
Sixth grader. Anybody remember her name?
Grade 6.
Whoa! You guys are amazing. Okay, Grace. Grace is going on a trip next year. Right? She's saving up for it right now, and she has to fundraise and all that. As a 7th grader, she's going to go to Washington, D.C. with her class. Okay? And she goes to a Christian school. So when she goes to Washington, D.C., the trip is organized, check this out, to look at everything in Washington, D.C. with a blank worldview. Fill in the blank. This whole trip, when she goes on the trip, I'll say it again. When she goes on the trip, everything they look at in Washington, D.C., the Jefferson Memorial, the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the White House, everything they look at is designed, and the tour guide is going to speak with a blank worldview. What's the blank?
Evolution.
Melody. Christian worldview. In other words, when he gets to the Jefferson Memorial and the Lincoln Memorial, you know what he's going to do? He's going to walk into the Lincoln Memorial. You ever seen that? Big statue? It's Lincoln sitting down on a chair. Has anybody been to it? You been to it, Andrew? And Jessica? You guys brother and sister?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you walk in, this is the coolest thing. He's sitting there, and if you look on the walls behind Lincoln and to the sides, what's that? It says, "In God we trust," and there are other verses from the Bible.
That's cool.
Yeah, it says that on the
So if you were going on a whatever trip, okay, with a non-Christian organization, and this statue was made out of granite, and this Lincoln Memorial has been here for blank number of years. But if you go on a Christian worldview trip, right, they're going to give you the Christian way of looking at this. How Lincoln was a strong believer in God. There was not one speech that Lincoln made where he did not mention God's name. Not mention that. So, talking about America, okay, the way that it was meant to be, and we're looking at America through a Christian worldview. Okay? Is your hand up, David? No. Okay. So, worldview. So when Jesus even looks at people, he looks at people in a different way. And that's what makes Christians and Christianity different than other religions. We can look at things in the world. This is powerful. We can look at things in the world and other people in the world, whether they're Christians or not, with God's eyes. With God's eyes. You guys can look at things in the world with the eyes of God. No other religion allows that to happen. You can see things in the world the way God sees them. And in fact, when he told his disciples, come on, I've been with you for so long, are you still seeing things that way? Do you guys remember in the first miracle when he fed the 5,000? The feeding of the 5,000? He fed 5,000 people, just men and children. That didn't include all the kids. So we're talking like 20,000 people. 20,000. If you go to like a Canucks game, okay, that stadium holds 20,000 people. Imagine that entire stadium being full to hear Jesus speak. Jesus speak. And they were hungry because they actually had been following for many days. And he fed them, right? With how much? How much did he have in his hands at the time? Yes.
3 loaves of bread and 2 fish.
No.
2 fish.
Yes.
5 loaves of bread and 2 fish.
5 loaves, 2 fish. 5 loaves, 2 fish. Remember this number. 5 loaves, 2 fish. Okay? And they all ate. And did they just have a little snack or were they stuffed?
There was stuff.
They were stuffed. In fact, there were some leftovers, wasn't there?
There
12 baskets, okay? And each of the disciples took a basket on his shoulders and walked away. Check this out. A few weeks later, Jesus is speaking again, and in front of a huge crowd. How big is this next crowd? 3,000 men instead of 5,000 men. Smaller crowd. And then they find some food. How much food? 7 loaves, 5 fish. So the first time it was 5 loaves, 2 fish. This time it's 7 loaves, 5 fish. So now there's more food. There's less people, more food. Less people, more food. First time, more people, less food. Okay? So then he says to them, they had just had the miracle of the feeding of the 5,000, well, 20,000. He had just had that miracle. And he said to them, give them something to eat. And guess what the disciples said? I'm smiling, I'm laughing, but I probably would have said the same thing.
It's not
What did they
enough.
say?
That's too much.
It's too much people. Where are we supposed to get food? Now you and I, because we weren't there, and it's easy for us to judge, you and I are like, hello? Don't you remember what just happened? Canuck Stadium? Everybody ate a basket for everybody on their shoulders. You just carried the basket. You carried a basket. It's like Jesus on purpose, 12 baskets. 12 baskets. Which means how many disciples?
12.
Each disciple gets a basket on your shoulders so that you remember. Carry it back into town. So you remember. You said there was not enough, and now you're carrying. You got tons. And now there's less food. There's more food and less people. And you're saying to me, how? I just told you. I gave you the power to feed them. I told you to feed them. You feed them. So the first time, he showed him. He showed him how to do it. Let me show how you do it. Okay? You thank God for the food. Okay? And you pray and you ask. He just showed them. And he gave them a chance to do it. And they still didn't know. But you know what happens after the resurrection?
What?
Oh, and by the way, did he feed those 3,000?
Yeah.
He fed them too. Okay?
Wait.
You know what happened after the resurrection?
Ascension.
After the resurrection, things totally changed for those 12 disciples. They started to see with God's eyes when they started to see the a man who was dead, right? When St. Paul was preaching one day, and he was some dude was sitting right by a window. He was all tired, sleepy, and he fell out of the window.
Oh gosh.
Fell out, and he goes crashing to the ground. And everybody who was listening to St. Paul preach, and they ran downstairs, and St. Paul went with them, okay? And he went down, and he kind of put his body over the boy, young man. And he turned to them, and he said, he's okay. His life is still in him. In other words, when St. Paul looks at that situation, he doesn't see a dead kid. He sees an opportunity for God to be glorified. He was just talking about the resurrection and the life. The resurrection life. And now I'm going to show you that by God's grace, there is resurrection and life. And the boy was taken up, and they said, go give him something to eat. Not only is he alive, but he's ready to eat. Right? Jesus, we can see everybody with God's eyes. I was walking with some of my youth in Santa Monica. Anybody been to LA?
Oh.
Okay.
What?
So I was walking with some of my high school youth in LA. In a place called 3rd Street Promenade in Santa Monica. It's a really fun place to walk around, and there's buskers playing music and drumming, blah, blah, blah. Okay? So we're walking, and I just sat down on the curb with one of the youth, and the youth said to me, it was quiet for a bit, right? And the youth said to me, hey, Uncle Mike, you know what's amazing? Is that you and I right now, we're talking about Jesus, and we feel like connected to God. We feel like God knows us because we're like Coptic Orthodox and stuff. But look at all these thousands of people walking through this promenade. Jesus knows them and their history, where they were born, and what they're going to eat tonight, and where they sleep at night, and what's going to happen to them tomorrow, as much as He knows me and you. That's amazing. So when I look at somebody, anybody, a perfect stranger, okay, I need to ask God to help me see them with His eyes. Now, that's because there's an empty tomb. The empty tomb is powerful. It's powerful because it helps me see the world in a different way. When things seem bad, I remember the empty tomb. Because there used to be a guy, I shouldn't say guy, there used to be a man God, hanging on a cross, and the whole world thought that that was going to be the end. And 3 days later, the world was never going to be the same again. Turn the page over in your notebook, please. There's 12 S's we're going to talk about for the rest of the day and a half that we have together. These are the 12 S's.
Hey, John, we have another lecture tonight, right?
Yeah.
6 o'clock.
So,
We have 2.
I don't know. I thought on my schedule it says there's only one more tonight. But I thought I heard Abuna say today there's going to be 2 tonight.
What?
I don't know. Anyways, let's not worry about that. Let's not worry about that. That's Abuna's business. Okay. So, 12 S's. And you're going to see the slide many, many times. I want you, by the time you leave here today, okay? And your parents ask you, what did you learn? You're going to say 12 S's. Okay? Okay? Go ahead and write them down. Go ahead and write them down. Because of Christ, because of Christianity, I see the world differently. And I see the world differently because I know who the source is. Source, number 2. Who the source is of everything. God. Yes. No, you're just going to write this down. Just write this down.
What does not what you say?
No, not what I said. Just write this down.
Should I write like the empty tombs title?
No, just write 12 S's. Okay? I know who the source of all goodness is, and I see myself differently. I'm not just a big blob of skin and blood and water walking around, and I'm not just a human being that's going to live, 70, 80, 90 years and then go in a coffin. No, I have a soul. I'm not just a body. I'm not just a mind. I'm soul, spirit, and body. And my soul is eternal. Whether I like it or not, whether I am good or bad, it will be eternal. Now, it will be eternally in a not so good place, or it will be eternally in heaven. I know myself because I know my source. And I know where my strength is from. Because I know who's in charge, who's sovereign. That's what sovereignty means. Okay? Who's in charge? Who reigns? I know who's in charge. And so because I know who's in charge and I trust him, I can submit to him. Okay? I can obey him. Submission. Obedience. I can submit to him. Even in my hard times, when I'm struggling, I'm okay with that. Because I know who's sovereign, who's in charge. When I'm suffering, I'm okay with that. In fact, I'm okay with being a spectacle. I'm okay with being weird. Okay? Because I know my source and I know who myself is. I know who I am. Okay? I understand that sacrifice is part of being a Christian because my father sacrificed. God sacrificed. He showed me how to sacrifice. So I'm okay to sacrifice. Okay? And he gave me 5 beautiful gifts all attached to my head. Right? Your 5 senses. Your ability to see, smell, hear, feel, taste. Did I miss one? Is that 5? Smell, hear, taste, touch.
Breathe. Smell.
See? 5 senses, they're all in your head. So I realized that he gave me those 5 senses to enjoy all the beautiful things that he made. Right? Cake, chocolate, the ocean, the mountains, music. He gave me all of that. So my senses are for that, and because they are for that, I don't use them for evil things. I don't look at inappropriate things. I don't tell bad jokes. I don't even eat things that are not appropriate for me to eat or drink. Okay? Yes?
You told us yesterday to keep an eye on what shirts you're wearing.
Yes.
Because, are we going to talk about what
We are.
shirt you're wearing?
Yes. Good for you. And then the last word is synergy. When I was a kid, exactly your age, okay, like between 6, I think I was actually in 6th or 7th grade. There used to be a show on TV, a cartoon. You might be able to get it on Netflix. It was called, maybe I shouldn't tell you, because you're gonna, well, I'm leaving, so it's okay if you laugh at me. It used to be called Gem and the Holograms. Have you heard of it? You've heard of it, Rebecca?
I never watched it.
Okay, it's a silly show. I think it's silly now. When I was little, I thought that was cool. It's like a show for girls. I don't even know why I like this.
What is it called again?
Sure.
Caribbean.
So it was like, no, it wasn't like that. It was, the show was about 4, listen,
What's it called?
I'm going
Gem.
to write it down. I'm going to write it down.
How do you spell it?
J-E-M
J-E-M.
and the Holograms. Okay? So Gem and the Holograms was a cartoon about, I don't know how many girls were in the group, like maybe 3, 4, 5, and they were the girls in a band. Okay? But then, and I don't even know why they would do this, but together, like there would be a problem. Okay? And then, you know how Wonder Woman used to change into Wonder Woman by spinning around? You ever seen that?
Yeah.
So these girls would touch their earrings and they would go, synergy. I know, I told you it was stupid. So this is, every time I see this word synergy, okay? I think of Gem and the holograms. You know what synergy means? It means teamwork. It means teamwork. And God, this is the beautiful thing. Remember the story I just told you about the 5 loaves and 2 fishes? Could God have done that all by himself? But he didn't. He told them, sit them down in groups of 50. Let's get some organization here. Okay? Do you have anything that I can... Did he need the 5 loaves and 2 fishes to feed all these people? No, he could have just created it from nothing. He said, go get me the 5 loaves and 2 fishes, and together, synergy, we will do.
Oh, I have a question.
So God is not going to act. If you can't sit down at night and say, God, please help me get an A on this exam, and then go and start watching TV. No. Synergy. So you do your part, and I'll be there with you. You do your part. Don't act like you're doing your part. Actually do your part. Study. And not for 3 minutes. Just really study.
3 hours.
And then ask me, and we work together. Synergy. When you have a problem, okay, do your part. Try to solve it. Talk to me. Ask me. Together. Synergy. Okay? So those are the 12 S's. You guys got them?
No.
Lydia.
What does number 5 mean?
5 is sovereignty. It means God's in charge.
Okay.
He is the ruler. He reigns. Reigns, R-E-I-G-N.
Yeah.
Okay, reigns. Got it? Everybody got 12 S's?
Yeah.
Awesome. Ready? By the way, these 12 S's are meaningless without love. Why do I submit to my dad? Because I love him. I do. And so I'm willing to obey him. When my mom asks me to do something, okay? Even if I don't really want to, I do it. Because I respect her. And I respect her because I love her. And I love God because he loved me first. And he didn't just say I love you, he did something about it. How many of you say love in Christianity is a verb? How many of you say love in Christianity is a noun? Is it an adjective? Do you guys know what nouns, verbs, and adjectives are?
Yeah.
Because nobody's voting. Okay. And a noun is a person, place, or thing. And a verb is an action word. And adjectives are descriptive words. Okay? I'm going to ask this question one more time. In Christianity, is love a person, place, or thing? How many of you say yes, it is a thing? Love is a thing. Anybody?
It's all 3 of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many of you say that in Christianity, it's an action word, it's a verb. It's an action word, it does. It's doing.
It's all of them.
Okay?
It's all.
How many of you say it's an adjective? Describes. Okay. You're right, it is all of them. You guys are smart. I was trying to trick you, it didn't work. It is all of them. It is a noun, it is a thing, but it's not really just a thing. Because I can't say that I love you if I don't do something about it. Okay? There is an action. So what did God do to show us he loved us? What did he do? What did David, what did he do? He died. Now, today Abuna said something pretty awesome, again in Arabic. He didn't just die because the Romans took him and they snatched him and he had no choice and they forced him and they put him on the cross. No, that's not what happened. To the Romans it looked like that. To the Romans like, oh God. To the Jews they're like, finally he's out of our face. No, that's not how it worked. Jesus chose the nails. He accepted it. He submitted to his Father. Okay? God the Father. He allowed it to happen. Allowed it to happen. So in sacrifice, there's choice. You get to choose. Do you guys get to choose? Can you choose to disobey your mom or dad?
Yeah.
You can choose to disobey your mom and dad. You do that. Yeah? And that's the most beautiful thing. There is no, listen to this. This is very important because this is going to be related to something we talked about this afternoon. There is no love without free will. If I force you to love me, that's not really love. That's dictatorship. You can't. You have to love me because you want to love me. You're choosing to love me. So he chose to go up on the cross. He could have, by the way, when they were nailing his hand in, he could have done this. He could have caused the soldiers who were nailing him in to just suddenly fall apart, like they did at the resurrection. He fell backwards. Right? They looked like they were like made of stone. They were frozen from shock. That could have happened at the cross too. That could have happened. But it didn't. He said, no. I have to do it this way. Yes?
What time is it?
Oh, sure. Yes. Yes. Okay. So this is the verse. Can I have somebody read it for me? Go ahead, Barcelona. Nice and loud.
For thy sake we are killed all the day long, for we are accounted as sheep for the slaughter. Nay, and all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. Romans 8:37.
We are more than conquerors. You know what? You know what's more than a conqueror?
Me.
A sufferer. Someone who suffers and then wins is better than someone who just wins. Okay, so last night, before I went to sleep, I was watching the news. Canada was playing Russia last night in hockey. In the third period, Canada was losing 2-0. With 5 minutes left in the game, Canada was losing. And you know that's a big game, Canada versus Russia in hockey. Right? It was the under 20 championships, world championships. 2-0, 5 minutes left, Canada scores. A minute and 11 seconds left, again, Canada scores. It's 2-2 with 3 minutes left in the game.
Who wins?
Okay? And time is like running out. And with about 43 seconds left in the game, Canada scores again. And they're not done. They're not done. With 12 seconds left in the game, Canada scores again. And they finish the game champions.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Russia.
So actually, it's not. I should say the series is not over. They play the semifinals tonight. Now, here's the point I'm trying to make. With God, even if it looks like you're losing, it just looks like that for now. For now. If you're suffering, that's just temporary. But then when you win, you don't just win slightly, you win by a significant margin. And the Russians go like this, and so does the devil. How did that happen, right? So what's amazing is the comeback. Remember I was wearing a Canada jersey yesterday? You know why I was wearing a Canada jersey yesterday? Because how many people live in Canada? What's the population in Canada? I mean,
35 million.
35 million people. Do you guys know that California only, just California, one state, is 35 million people?
What?
In
Okay.
Egypt,
Well, Egypt's like
So-
99 million.
Canada is the second largest country in the whole
We're
world.
studying it.
And it's only 35 million people. But they're the best at hockey. They better than Russia, which is much longer in terms of population. And the United States is 10 times bigger than Canada. So I come from a town called Bakersfield, and our Bakersfield Condors hockey team is owned by the Edmonton Oilers. And the entire starting lineup, every guy starting on the Bakersfield Condors, I love to go to a hockey game, and when they come in, they introduce them, right? What do they say? From Kamloops, from Burnaby, BC. The entire starting lineup is Canadian. And they mention name by name. They're Canadian. Canada produces great hockey players, even though it's 35 million. Small, but powerful. And that's exactly what God says about you too. You're small, but powerful. You're small, but powerful. Even though you look like you're losing and that you can't do very much, you are small, but powerful. Right? Imagine this, guys. Imagine an arena. And you're playing in that arena, and that arena is full. 40,000 people watching. And everybody's cheering.
That sounded like.
And then suddenly the game is over. And the fans go home. The custodians come and they clean up. the trash, the Pepsi cans, and all that stuff. The security and the police go home after the parking lot is empty, and the arena lights, not arena lights, spelling error, and the Jumbotron screen are turned off. And it looks like the team that won. And who's playing? Who's playing? It's Mariana and Satan. It's Andrew and Satan. It's our Lord Jesus Christ, Satan. And at the end, it said, well, what we thought was the end, the score was 5-1 for the devil. And everybody went home and everybody thought it was over. And suddenly, even though the seats are empty and everybody's gone home, lights turn on. One batch of lights. Suddenly, after everything is dark, they turn on. And even though you think that the match is over, 3 hours after everyone goes home and all the lights are out and this one set of lights turns on and the teams return, you and Satan, back onto the field, even though it looked like you had been beaten. There's a different audience too. The angels are there. And everyone who died and went to Hades is there. And they're there to see the fourth period. They're there to see the game of 1 more minute long. Just one last minute. And there are new rules. It's not just you versus Satan now. It's you plus the resurrected Christ against Satan. New rules. And that place, that cross that used to be a symbol of embarrassment and shame, becomes your symbol of power. And though you apparently looked like you had lost, you end up winning. Because he lays down his cross, he chose to lay it down, and he took it back. He had the power to take it again. Nobody else can do that. I mean, who resurrected Lazarus? Jesus. Did Lazarus resurrect himself? No. Only Christ can do that. Okay? Death had no power over him. And when Satan thought it was over, it's not. And that's what makes us love comebacks. We love watching the pathetic little player who nobody's expecting to win. Because inside of us, we realized that there was a great comeback. And that comeback changed everything. That comeback, that tomb, that empty tomb, changed everything. And so, or only 35 million people, but it's a big deal, right? So, I told you I was watching playoff hockey. In the last series, Edmonton was playing Anaheim, and in Game 5, with 3 minutes and 11 seconds left in the game, Edmonton was winning, beating Anaheim. And at what point does Anaheim think, okay, it's Game 5, we'll get them next game? They don't think like that at all. They're like, we have 3 minutes and 11 seconds. Now is the time. Failure is not an option. Now is the time. We have to do something now. We're going to make an effort now. We're going to struggle. It's going to be painful. We're going to sweat. It's going to hurt. My lungs are going to be totally out of breath. But I have to do something even though there's 3 minutes and 11 seconds. Now, we have to stop thinking, oh, it's 3 minutes, 11 seconds. I have no choice. No, we have to change the way that we think. Okay? Satan wants us to give up. He does. But what ends up happening is this. Is it going to work? Is that thing on?
And it's the most valuable asset you'll ever own.
Game 5 between the Ducks and Oilers Friday night in Anaheim. The series knotted up at 2 games apiece. The road team has won all 4 games of the series so far. Ryan Getzlaf has been front and center with 7 goals this postseason. That matches a career high for any playoff year. Looking to keep it rolling as we go to the Honda Center.
Up ahead it goes. Lucic lost it. Getzlaf counters. He's past Klopov. In. Stop. Brian Getzlaf on the backhand. Hooked by Lucic. A big penalty shot.
And Lucic.
And shoots it wide. So Cam Talbot doesn't blink and the game remains scoreless.
The strong play of Ryan Getzlaf continues here in the early going of Game 5.
The other night was his first ever 2-goal game in the postseason. Here's a chance, Draisaitl. He scores! Leon Draisaitl snuck it through short side on Gibson. And in 15 seconds of the second period, the Oilers get the icebreaker.
Well, it's a fortunate bounce for the Edmonton Oilers.
And charging in is McDavid. He gets through, draws a penalty, and backhands high. It's going to be a 5-on-3 for the Edmonton Oilers. Here's McDavid going to the net, sending it across. Gibson stopped it. Puck loose. Still in front, they score. 5-on-3 power play goal. And the Oilers have a 2-0 lead.
Well, you know when you have a 5-on-3 opportunity, you're going to be able to get quality looks in Letestu.
Wow.
Who's able to find that puck and make a nice little chip feed over to McDavid.
A bunt single for McDavid and a 2-0 lead. Shane Theo's got it. Across it goes, that shot scores! Off a high stick, it's going to get waved right away. They'll take a look at it.
From my vantage point, this is where I see it. And that's where I saw a high stick right there.
It was confirmed number 37 from Anaheim. I stick the puck in the net. They're going to run the outside.
Looks like he took a high stick, dropped his stick, and slowing it back to the play. Back the other way, Kajula scores! Connor McDavid sets up Drink Kajula. 3-0 Edmonton.
Chip puck by Connor McDavid. He's able to chip it to himself. And then off to the races go the Oilers. And McDavid used that speed to join Kajula on the rush. A little give and go. And Kajula picks up a goal here.
Road ice advantage back to Anaheim. And the case here against.
See, even the guy who's talking, he's like, oh, just next game is going to be this, home ice advantage. Even the guy who's talking about the game, commentating, he's giving up.
An unfortunate break.
And there's the first goal, 3-1 now.
And Getzlaf fires this one right off the backside of Draisaitl, fooling Cam Talbot.
Gibson cheats out, he's headed off. Extra man is coming back on. Raquel goes to the front. Fowler takes the shot, scores! It's a 1-goal game!
In front of Cam Talbot, you got Kessler, you got Corey Perry, and you also have the defender of the Edmonton Oilers, and Fowler does a great job of finding himself a lane to get that puck through.
Letestu couldn't handle the bouncing puck. It's loose in front. Perry would top it down. It's still loose. Put back in. They score. Ricard.
With 15 seconds left, he scored the goal that tied the game.
Watching this.
But it looks like we're going to have a situation where this is going to be looked at with all the bodies that were in and around the crease. Does Cam Talbot have an opportunity to make this save with all the people in and around?
So it goes into overtime.
Shot Lindholm. And Talbot had it. Look behind him. Puck came loose.
Got that puck squared right behind him, Chris.
Day. Start back the other way. With Kajula. Shot. Stopped by Gibson. Rebound loose in front. And kicked around there before Lindholm got control. And we'll go to the second overtime.
So it goes into a second overtime period. Now they're playing over 3 hours of hockey. They must be super exhausted. And there's the game-winning goal.
And Anaheim finally breaks through at home and leads the series.
A comeback for the ages as the Anaheim Ducks win it 4-3 in double overtime to take a 3-2 series lead. The Ducks just the second team ever to erase a 3-goal deficit in the final 4 minutes of regulation.
You know what's amazing? The only other team ever to do that was Edmonton.
The other team
Not when Wayne
was
Gretzky was
Edmonton.
playing with them.
Ryan Getzlaf.
What's amazing is Anaheim doesn't give up, and they actually go on to beat Edmonton, and
Ducks
Edmonton
will
gets
try to
knocked
close
out
out
of the
the
playoffs.
series in Game 6 on Sunday at 7 Eastern in Edmonton.
Wait, so tonight
Tonight
TV.
is the finals for the World Championships in hockey. The Stanley Cup playoffs are not over yet.
Which channel is it on?
have no idea.
who's playing?
Tonight?
Yeah.
I don't. In the World Championships? I think it's Canada and Sweden.
Yours is first class.
So why do we love comebacks? Because it's in us, right? Christ is in us. Here's what I want you to do right now. This is the last thing that we'll do, and we'll stop and give you a break, okay? We'll see you later on tonight. Here's what I want you to do. Open up your notebooks
To a different page.
to a different page, okay? I'd like you to make a list of great comebacks in the Bible. You guys know what I mean by that? So stories of people you were not expecting to win who came back and won. Or things that you were expecting other than our Lord Jesus Christ. Quiet, because you're going to have to come back and share in the group. Okay? So, your title, Great Comebacks in the Bible. Great Comebacks in the Bible. And all I want you to do is come up with 2, 3, 5 list of stories in the Bible of people who you were not expecting to win and they came back and won. Miracles, basically.
I only know one.
Amazing things. What's that?
Can we work together?
Not yet. Later on,
Wait,
you
what was the
will
title?
come back and you will share what you came up with.
Comebacks in the Bible.
Okay?
Great
Great comebacks in the Bible. Great comebacks in the Bible.
Can we just list names?
Just list-
Actually write them.
Like stories, for example, if I were saying like 5 loaves and 2 fishes was a story, I would write 5 loaves, 2 fishes. That's my title. That's my idea. I would write that. So you can write the heading of a story. You can write the heading of a person if it involves one specific person.
I only have
See how many you can come up with.
I only have one.
Which is
And because we're coming back this afternoon, just leave your booklet and your pen. Remember how we did that yesterday? Can I borrow somebody's booklet? Can I borrow yours for a second? You're going to put your pen back inside your booklet like that. After you close it, and just leave it on the chair that you're sitting on right now.
Is two okay? I can't come up with it.
I can't use
Yes, sir. Dude, you won't be here tomorrow?
Yeah, I won't be here tomorrow.
Are you going to be here tonight, though? Okay. Well, leave your notebook there and ask your parents, and if you're leaving, you can take your notebook. Okay, leave your booklet, go take your break, and I'll see you back here later on tonight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Are you coming?
We could do more.
David, why are you sitting up loud?
Yeah, I need to change.